consuming 1,200 calories a day for years, even though you should be consuming more. Your body has found a way to make that work. It's not healthy, it's not right, but it's found a way. Now, we want to change that. Now we're like, crap, I want to build muscle, I want to be healthy. I start giving my body those calories that it needs. Well, your body is used to this amount of food, this amount of calories. So now you're trying to expand that. So you go from 1,200 to 1,400. You're still not getting enough calories, but you feel full all the time. Think of it as muscle soreness. You go to the gym, you're lifting 20 pounds. You're gonna be sore afterwards. That doesn't mean you quit lifting at 20 pounds. Doesn't mean 6 months from now, you're still only lifting 20 pounds. In a fitness environment, we're constantly gonna add weight. Why is it any different with what you're eating? You have to constantly add calories till you get to where you need. So, first couple of weeks, couple of 100 calories. Next couple of weeks, we keep doing that until your body learns to accept it. Now, you may not see, because this is where we want to be, or call this average. This is where we want to be for those people who have been starving themselves. And starving doesn't mean you're not eating. Starving means you're not getting anything that your body can use. In this case, calories. When I'm referring to starving, I'm referring to calories, not volume. I don't care how much you're eating. If it isn't worth anything, it doesn't mean anything. So if you started here and you're trying to get here, you have to work your way up to here and then start making gains. You have taught your body that it doesn't get a lot of calories. So at the beginning, it's used to getting 1,200 calories. Now you're adding calories. You know what it's going to do? It's not going to do what you want it to do. It's going to start storing all those calories because it's freaking out. It's like, holy crap, I got calories, but I'm not going to have them later. I'm going to store this. So you might actually build body fat at that time because that's a normal function for your body. As you get closer to, you start teaching your body, it's like, no, this is okay. We're going to have these calories to use. Your body's like, slowly, it's like a scared child. It's not going to react right away, and it's not going to react positively right away. You have to retrain your biology, which is a lot harder than retraining muscles. You have to retrain the chemical makeup of your body to accept that it will get calories and to use them properly. And eventually, you'll work your way towards it. The closer you get to the middle, the more you'll get, okay, now your body's like, oh crap, okay, now I'm getting what I need. I'm getting that 1,600 calories that I need. I will start burning the fat. I'll quit attacking the muscle. As soon as you flip that switch, which for everybody is going to be different, unfortunately, we can't give you a magic number. It's going to take X number of days, which we can't do that because that's not the way it works. A big part of it is how long have you been doing this to yourself? Another big part of it is biology, heritage, all these other factors come into play. We have no magic number. Stay the course. Just like when I tell you you're lifting 20 pounds a day, eventually we're shooting for 50, 60, 80 pounds. Eventually you'll get there. I can't tell you this will happen in 6 weeks. It depends on how consistent you are and how your body reacts. Again, your food and your workout should have the same rules. As you get to here, now your body, once your body does start putting on muscle mass and quits attacking your muscle, you will see a dramatic change. So that's one of the things that you can look forward to because it will, once it flips, it will very likely be very, very noticeable. So, up to this point, any questions? Okay, so I was asked earlier this morning about different diets. I hate using food plan is a much better word. We use the wrong words and diet has become synonymous with restriction. And it's not. What you're eating now, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, is your diet. It's still a diet. So let's not refer to it as diet. This is your new food plan. I was asked earlier this morning about other food plans. One of the ones that came up is keto. So keto, let's just refer to it as reduced carbs. So because keto can be no carbs to a specific amount of carbs, let's go on the idea of minimal carb diet. So with that, the calories doesn't change. You still need X number of calories. Where you get those calories from changes because with keto or with low carbs, you get most of your calories from fat and a ton of protein. And what that's doing is it's telling your body, part of the reason why it works is with having that protein in your body, you have all the things in your body ready for your body to use that your body would get from dissolving muscle. So it doesn't think, okay, I'm going to attack the muscle. It's still going to keep attacking the fat, but only if you get enough calories to keep it going. But it is definitely going to focus on the fat. It should still work. As far as I know, with the little bit of research I've done and reading into it, there's no reason that you can't maintain that particular food plan. Physically, mentally, it's a much different story. You get really tired. I hate to say it, but I got tired of eating bacon. And almost all other meats. They start to taste like metal after a while, and it sucks. So, biologically speaking, you can do it. Biologically speaking, you could eat all your calories in one meal, and probably everything would work. As a species, it's not going to work, because we're going to have cravings, mental gets into it. There are certain biological benefits to it, but there's a lot of other stuff that will just screw you up. I don't suggest doing it. But even then, it all comes out, you still need all the calories that your body needs. And then here's the other question I got. How do we know? The only way to know, I can't look at you and tell you you need this many calories. I can't look at you and tell you you need this many calories. We can't put you on a machine and tell you you need these many calories, because the number of calories you need is based on how many you burn. So the only way to know is to track it for a week, not a day, for a week. So for a week, you track how many calories you burn every day. Then you take your average of all of those. So say your average is about, the number I've been using, 1,600. Or no, probably 1,800 for most people. So your average is about 1,800. Now you subtract 500, and I was also asked that, why 500? Well, 500 is what scientifically has been proven to fall within everybody's range. Everybody's a little bit different. I keep saying it, and it's true. So for one person, 700 might be a good number. For another person, 300 might be a good number. But 500 almost always falls within the range, so we always start there. So you're burning 1,800 calories a day. You subtract 5 from that, no more than 5. Subtract 5 from that, it gives you 1,300 calories. That's what you should be consuming every single day. It's about averages. Your body's not going to react on a 24-hour schedule. It will react to some degree on a 7-day schedule. That's how we train it. So we're consistent. That's like, okay, yeah, I can work with this. From day to day, it'll spread it out. Your body will manage what you need. So, but still, you're not doing 1,200 calories. I know, like, I think I've met one person, and they were super small, so they didn't have a lot of muscle mass. Because your muscle mass very much decides how many calories you burn. They didn't have a lot of muscle mass, and they were barely under 1,200 calories needed. But they weren't getting 1,200 calories because this particular person, if you're that small, usually you're trying to put on muscle mass. So we're loading her up with calories, trying to go the other way. So even in that case, you're not eating that. And then naturally it all boils down to eating the right stuff. If you get your 1,700 calories from sugar, probably not going to do what you want it to do. Everything. This is my favorite statement, and it is true across the board when it comes to health and fitness. Balance. All of a good thing or none of a bad thing, neither one of those are good. Neither one of those are what you need. Because everybody thinks that fat is bad. It's not. But if you think of it as bad and you get none of it, you're going to suffer for it. You think of protein as good, which it is. But if you eat nothing but that, there's a downside. And if you overdo it, people have asked me about protein poisoning, which is a thing. But you have to eat a horrendous amount of protein to do it. But for a long period of time, odds of you getting there, you'd have to be very, very, very focused to get that, even on a keto diet. So, anything up to this point?
Is there a difference on like the fat in a food
Yes,
compared to calories?
when it comes to fat, and this applies pretty much, you can apply this to almost anything you eat. The closer it is to the source, the better. So I like to use bacon as an example. I love bacon. Most people love bacon. It's a very American food. There's a lot of bad things with it. Too much sodium, a lot of fat, all that. But as a food by itself, proportioned properly, so one portion here and there, not living off of stuff, that's a great source of very good fat. Also, pork in general is very good because it has a lot of collagen in it, which is really good for a lot of the functions of your body. So yes, the fat that you're getting, anything, any ingredient, if there's ever a question, the closest it is to the source. The fewer steps in processing it is, the better it is for you. Your body's designed, we're omnivores. We're designed to consume stuff off the bone, as it were. So plants, animals, closest to the source. Deer hunting's great because it's not processed. It's cut up and you eat it. But the downside of that is you have to take into account. So if something's going to last on the shelf for 12 years, odds are there's a lot of processing in it. That's why everybody, Whole Foods is a good way to go, because Whole Foods means it's going to go bad in a week. If it goes bad in a week, chances are that was a good place to start, because it doesn't have a lot of the extra crap in there to preserve it. So yes, it's a good question, Chad. Fats in general are good if they're unsaturated, very close to the source. Peanuts. Peanut butter, great source of fat. Because peanut butter, you know what that is? It's ground up peanuts with a little bit of salt. That's it. Well, yes, basic peanut butter, you're right. So, again, look at the ingredients. If it has sugar added, if it can last on the shelf without separating, without changing, Because peanut butter in general will last forever, but it'll separate. The stuff that doesn't separate is because it's got, again, further from the source. You got sugars and extra salts and all sorts of other crap to stabilize it. Shelf stabilizers are almost universally bad. It's usually sugar or salt, and it's too much. Or, what is that, corn syrup. Coconut oil is great fat, actually. It's actually a good fat, if you can stand it. A lot of people can't. It's actually, the thing I really love about coconut oil is if you want to add sweetness to something, coconut oil will do that without adding a lot of sugar, because it gives it a sweeter texture. My sister hates coconuts. It won't work for her. And there are certain nut allergies. Coconut oil, check on that. If you're allergic to certain nuts, check. And if you've had coconut before, you're probably fine, but check, because you can have an allergic reaction to coconut oil too. Avocado oil. No, that stuff's, avocado is almost nothing but fat. It's a really, really good fat because your body's built to process it. It has nothing extra that you don't need. But again, you can overdo it. Just like fruits, we were, especially my generation, was taught that fruits and vegetables turned into, oh, fruits. I can get rid of the vegetables if I eat the fruit. No. You need or want a very, very small, like one serving of fruit a day. Because fruit is nothing but sugar. Yes, it's sugar your body can process, but it's still a shock to your system. You don't want excessive amounts of sugar, and that's all fruit is. Bananas are kind of an exception, although they are loaded with sugar. So I wouldn't call them an exception. They're a good one to have. One portion, a day. Heavy on the greens, on green vegetables. Like everybody says kale. I don't like kale, so I'll blame it on that. Spinach is my go-to. Spinach, asparagus, green beans, and especially green leafy vegetables. There's two things about that are really good. It gives you a lot of the minerals and stuff that you need. But, so we're consuming all these calories we're not used to consuming. Add in vegetables, because it does two things. It takes energy for your body to digest green vegetables. So, it offsets a lot of the stuff that you're consuming so you can feel better about what you're eating. So just think of it as the anti-food, because it takes more effort to digest than regular food does. It's not like, they say celery is a negative, and that's not entirely true. Like it takes more to burn it than it does than it gives you. It's close, but that's the theory with green leafy vegetables. Plus, they add a lot of fiber, which is really good for your body. It can be used in a lot of ways, not just for the one that comes in the mind. Also, another thing. So, say you're adding all these extra calories beyond what you're used to get back up to it. Maybe it messes up your stomach because your stomach's not used to digesting that amount of food. Take your green vegetables and eat them last. What that does is the chemicals that break down vegetables, they'll break down and they'll produce chemicals into the food that's underneath it, and it actually helps digest it. It makes digestion easier. We're the only country that I know of that eats salad first. There's a reason why it's called anti-pasta. Anti-pasta. But because you put that on top, it helps you digest everything. It'll relieve you of gas, bloating, all the bad things that happen with eating certain foods. If you're gonna eat vegetables, which you should be, put them on top, and it'll make a huge difference. Little things that will help you get over the hump. But ultimately, it boils down to you need the right amount of calories. Too much is bad. Too few is probably worse. Because too much, you're still providing functions for your body. Too few, you know what happens? It's like, yeah, but I'm not getting anything out of it. You know why? Because your body's actually shutting down body functions you can't see. Your immune system's getting taxed. Your hydration systems are getting taxed. Your cardio is putting a lot of strain on your heart. These are things you can't see until it becomes a problem. These are what you're doing to your body by not giving it enough calories. Even though you can't, because you've taught your body it must function at this level. So it's found a way at the deficit of other body functions. Not always ones you can see.
If I start tracking my food along with my workout, how long will it take before I start seeing
It's a great question. It depends on where you start. The problem is with that, also a very good question, Chad, thank you. The problem with that is if you start way down here, it could take 6 weeks before you see any of it. But if you start right here, you might see it in 2 weeks. There's no magic number. If you're relatively healthy, you haven't done a lot of damage to your body, you'll probably see improvements within a couple, 2 weeks to a month. And these improvements are in the form of better sleep, more energy, stuff that you can't physically see, but you experience. Now, you might see some of those on the other end, but if you're at 1,200 calories and you should be at 1,800, I wouldn't expect a giant change until you get closer to that 1,800. because your body hasn't even figured out how to use what it's got yet. You have to retrain it. Again, no magic number. There's no way to tell for sure. All I can tell you is once you get to where you're supposed to be, you will see a result. You will see differences. And if you're doing it right, you will see positive ones. And those positive ones will not be in the form of weight. You will probably gain weight during this period, right here. We don't care about your weight. We want you to lose body fat and maintain or increase muscle mass. If those two things are happening and your weight doesn't change, great. If those two things are happening and your weight increases, awesome. Because you have more muscle to promote health. Weight does not matter on anyone. If you have the tools to track it, which we do, there's no reason why you should ever be focused on how much you weigh. It doesn't matter. Because somebody who's this tall and somebody who's this tall are going to maintain and hold their weight very differently. Both of them could be very healthy at a very healthy weight, totally different weights, and one's going to look bigger than the other. So what? We all look different as it is. We could mold our bodies, and in every case of that happening, corsets are a big one to go to. It's always detrimental to your body. The only way to mold your body is to work out. You can have a focus workout. Okay, focus a little bit more on the upper body, focus on the lower body. Whatever you need to do, wherever you want that muscle to be bigger, that's fine. Beyond that, you're not going to have, you're not going to be able to demand what your body looks like. But if you're healthy, I guarantee your body will look a lot better to you. Regardless of where you think you should be, you will feel a lot better about it. You're going to feel good. You're going to look at that in the mirror and associate with feeling good. Don't get off track. We're professionals. There's a reason why I paid a lot of money to get trained, to be able to train you guys. And I still have to pay it. This is something we do on a daily basis. We don't just read one article. We don't just, oh, this is a headline, we're gonna go with that. We look into this stuff before we talk to you about it. We find that what I'm talking about right now with the calorie deficit, this is years, decades worth of information that has been proven to be true. And the calorie deficit, decades worth of information that proves that is bad. And sometimes the science changes. So yeah, well, what about this? You used to change this, now you're changing this. Sometimes science changes. Sometimes our environment changes. So, and that's what we do. We look into that. We follow that sort of stuff. So, trust us at our work. If you want to, you can do the same amount of research we did. Go for it. It's going to take a lot of time to truly get any of that research. And universally, it's come down to eat enough calories. Never, ever eat too few. What's enough? Depends on you.
No, I think you're right. Because I did Metafast for 2 years and I got stuck for a year and it wasn't moving.
Yep.
And I finally just quit it.
Yep.
But now I'm going through that because now when you gave us the food plan and everything, I know I'm not losing weight, but you're right, I need to start tracking everything and see what I'm going to.
And you don't have an argument. Any profession, you don't have an argument for the person you're talking to if you don't have information. If you're like, I'm doing this, well, did you track it? Well, no, I know. No, you don't. You do not know. I can tell you from a psychologist's standpoint, you don't remember half of what you think you remember, especially when it comes to food and working out. You don't remember the amount of effort, you don't remember the number of reps, the number of weight, the actual portion sizes. You didn't track it. You don't even know what your portion size is. And at a certain point, after you've been tracking, then you have information to work with. You can do a best guess. Like this amount has been, 100 calories for 6 weeks. I can guess that that's about 100 calories. That's fine. But if you're like, well, I eat this many calories, well, how do you know? If you haven't been tracking, you don't know. And I can't give you information. I'm at best guessing. And then you know what happens? So you come to me with that information with no proof. I give you a guess, then that reverts in your head to facts, and then you follow those rules based on best guess. Again, that what happened right there is the exact reason why I say you don't know. Even as much as you think you do, you don't remember quite to the level that you need to. So you have to track a paper. Do you have to do it for the rest of your life? No. Like I said, with the portions, eventually you'll get used to it. Same thing is with everything else. If we're going to eat roughly the same stuff on a regular basis. So we track it for a week. 2-3 weeks later, we're like, oh, okay, let's track it again. Put in a week once a month to make sure you're on track. Put in a week once a month to make sure you know how many calories you're burning. Because if you put on muscle, you may not have seen anything, but now you're burning more calories. Oh crap, now I need more food. So, and it doesn't need to be like a separate job, is is what I'm saying. And that's where most people get hung up. It's a hurdle. It's like, it just takes too much. So just do it for a week. And then you're fine. But unfortunately, I gotta go. I gotta teach.